On December 14th, 2022, Twitch, the streaming platform, released a platform-wide sweeping change to their policy that resulted in a bunch of interesting different happenings, a bunch of reactions from the community and from the content creators of the platform. And a day later, they rolled back this sweeping platform policy change. So what was the deal with exactly what happened? What was this platform change? How did it affect people? What did people think about it? What are my opinions on it? If you've heard about it, great, you know, more or less along the lines of what I'm going to be talking about. If not, what was this policy change? So, again, on December 13th, they released a statement, at least 13th here in Europe, regarding their approach to sexual content and the content classification labels. TLDR, the gist of what the change was that they were going to now allow certain types of nudity on Twitch, namely artistic nudity, right? Correct? So they released this post and it detailed a lot of the changes, and especially in their Q&A section, their FAQ section, they specified a bunch of the different things that weren't allowed before and that were now allowed, right? Namely, I highlight some of it here. Content that deliberately highlighted breasts, butts, or the pelvic region, even when fully clothed, is now allowed. Fictionalized, fully exposed male-presenting breasts and or genitals are now fully allowed, and that is like the gist of what this change was. There's a bunch of other different things that like came along with this, but essentially the biggest point of contention and the thing people were most interested in and that affected the platform the most was that they were now gonna allow fictionalized sexual nudity on Twitch. I will proceed to quote, "Content with a focus on fictionalized sexual body parts, regardless of gender, are allowed with a sexual themes label," right? Meaning what? Meaning that, hypothetically, if you did like a still life drawing, right? If you drew me like one of your French girls sort of thing, that would be allowed on Twitch. If you do a classy drawing of somebody and their genitals happen to be exposed, that's totally fine, right? They did this out of the blue. They didn't warn their creators and didn't warn anybody. They just released this change on December the 13th because shortly beforehand, the Twitch streamer Morgpie had been banned. Morgpie had been pioneering the Twitch meta of topless quote-unquote streams, where girls would basically show everything from the nipples up. They wouldn't show their nipples, right? So it was according to Twitch Toss, because Twitch Toss banned female presenting nipples essentially, but everything from there up is totally fine. So she would do streams of just chatting category where she would just be on camera, everything shown except the nipples, and you would assume that she's implied that she's naked, and she would, you know, do little dances that make her boobs jiggle or whatever, and that's how she made her stream. And she pioneered this this meta, and many other streamers followed in her wake, but she was banned. And rather than enforcing this ban, they doubled down on Twitch doubled down saying that this is content that is allowed, and they now started allowing female presenting nipples to be shown, right? Not full-on nudity, not IRL nudity. The changes do not apply to real life nudity, but for artistic nudity, that is totally allowed. And when faced with these changes, what did the content creators do? What did the artists specifically do? Because remember, this change was the major change was applicable to sexual fictionalized body parts, right? Penis and vagina specifically, right? So the rules were pretty vague, right? They, like, if I go back and show the main rule, it says that fictionalized sexual body parts regardless of gender are allowed, but sexual acts and masturbation remain prohibited, right? That's a very important part. If the line was drawn, but the line is still blurry, like, right? Okay, so sexual acts are not allowed. Masturbation is not allowed. Sexual fluids are not allowed specifically. But what if somebody has a boner in in a picture, right? What if their genitals just so happen to be huge or whatever, right? That's a gray area, and they don't specify that here. This is like a 40 word sentence or so, right? So artists went about stretching the policy, seeing where it would break, right? Testing gray waters, seeing what was allowed and what wasn't. One of the pioneers for this was Kyoju Wolf. Bless him. I love his art. I love his streams. He's very wholesome. And he, on that day, decided to draw an erect penis, right? It showed up on trending. He was one of the top artists. He was literally the top 2 most viewed artists in this category. Many people saw it, many people didn't like it. A furry penis on the cover of Twitch, essentially, right? And under the new Twitch rules, this was allowed. Question mark? Is an erect penis allowed? Could that be construed as sexual? It could. Could it be construed as non-sexual? It also could. So that is a very gray line. And what else happened, right? So with the advent of sexual nudity or fictionalized characters being able to be shown, content creators and artists started drawing furry smut, essentially, and hentai, and anime hentai, right? That's essentially what happened. But not only, right? Like, if you paid attention if you read some of the content changes that happened, twerking was now allowed, also and it was banned before. So this was a screenshot taken today of twerk compilations, twerk contests, things like that. Literally channels just made for this stuff are now on Twitch as well, and they're still allowed to this day. But most egregiously, the worst bad actors were people who use programs, AI art generating programs, to draw photorealistic art of nudity on Twitch, right? And it's still under the new Twitch policy. It's allowed because it's fictionalized, it's art, it's not real. Even if it is photorealistic, it is almost indistinguishable from a screenshot from actual porn. It's still allowed under the new Twitch policy because it is artistic, right? It is not real. It is fictionalized. And people can even take it further beyond that and make it even worse, of photorealistic things that are very egregious that I don't even want to mention and that you could imagine yourself. And that is the sort of thing that people started making under the new policy, and technically, rules as written, they are completely allowed. So this is a very radical change, right? The platform is not used to this. You're now seeing anime hentai, furry smut being drawn and produced alongside video game streams, Minecraft streams, Fortnite, League of Legends, all those games. It's a lot in the same ecosystem, in the same platform, in the same level, right? So how does the community react to this? This is a screenshot of my own stream from that day, from the 14th, I believe. As you see here, I'm drawing something. It's not sexual in nature. There's no sexual bits in it. I intended on adding them, but under the new Twitch rule, but I ended up not doing so. It's just me. You can even see here that I have the sexual content label on, because I talk about egregious things. I talk about some like furry smut fetishes. I draw lewd things on occasion that could be construed as sexual, even though When I know that they cross the Twitch terms of service line, I make sure to blur it out. What happened was people started going to the art category. Anybody who had the 18 plus tag or similar tags, R18, 18 plus, plus 18, whatever, and they hate rated them. They went to their streams to report them specifically and flame them and say that what they were doing is wrong and that they should be ashamed of themselves and that they should die or whatever, right? Here are some of the comments that I received during that day. Fortunately, I'm relatively small. I only got like maybe a handful or two of people saying this, like, what the fuck is this? What are you talking about? What is the mentality behind furryism? List off every tag, I dare you. How do you see the hidden art on Twitch? Twitch people, these were all first-time chatters. People who I'd never seen before. People who were not furries, who are not interested in what I'm drawing. People who had never seen the art category before. Who just came in here because this is not the content they watch. They just came in here because they heard that there was a policy change and porn was being drawn on Twitch and they didn't like that and they wanted to make sure that people did not do that. And so they mass reported and got a ton of artists banned independently if they were doing things correctly or not. You even see this guy here admit that he was gonna be here, that he was gonna be a hater when he came in. He obviously like backed down, and I talked some of these people down from reporting me because I wasn't doing anything egregious. But it was very stressful. I felt like I had like the report button aimed at me, right? Many people got banned because of these hate raids, right? These people abused the automatic banning system of Twitch to get them banned. Many people some who were crossing the line and drawing borderline sexual acts on Twitch, and people who were just drawing still life pictures, right? Who were drawing like a Michelangelo picture, got banned, right? That's not allowed. That under the new Twitch policy, it is within the rules, it is allowed, but these people got them banned anyways, so a shit ton of people got banned during that day. To fix this, essentially, on December the 15th, so roughly 24 hours later, between 24 and 36, Twitch released another update, essentially rolling back their changes. This one written by Dan Clancy, who is the CEO of Twitch. And this one's quite interesting because it also shows a little bit of their thought process, so I will proceed to read this, or most of this. On Wednesday, we updated our sexual content policy. Our primary goal in making these updates was to make our guidelines easier to understand and enforce. Part of this update includes changes to how we treat fictionalized nudity. For years, through user voice and in conversations, we heard from artists that our content policies were limiting. In making this update, we are trying to be responsive to these requests and allow the thriving artist community on Twitch to utilize the human form in their art. First, we want to make clear that some streamers, in response to this update, created content that is in violation of our new policy, mostly like AI streamers, but not exclusively. We've worked quickly to remove the content and issue channel enforcements. You can even read it down here that AI can be used to create realistic images, and it can be hard to distinguish between digital art and photography. IRL nudity is not allowed. AI-generated art under the new policy is allowed, and the two are basically identical. So, there had to be some lines drawn. And the most important part of this entire statement, effective today, we are rolling back the artistic nudity changes. So some of the changes still remained. The changes to twerking and clothed, fully exposed body parts is still allowed, but artistic nudity is no longer allowed. Artists can no longer draw penises and vagina and female presenting breasts on Twitch, which is a shame. It is the actions of a few bad actors and some people who pushed it too far that are getting this policy revoked. So, what are my final thoughts on this? Why do I think this happened? It all boils down to Twitch wants more money, right? Twitch is an extension of Amazon, and Twitch bleeds a lot of money. They want more money. The meta pioneered by MorgPie was very big on Twitch of topless streams. It followed Twitch TOS at the time, and even more comfortably within the new policy. Twitch knows that their platform is for 13 and older people. So there's pretty young, underage people looking at this platform, and they know they don't have very much self-control. So when they see like a big-breasted lady on Twitch, obviously they're gonna click on it, and they're gonna spend their parents' credit card on subscribing to this person in hopes that they will marry them or whatever, right? So obviously Twitch thinks that there is money in this. If Twitch released this policy out of nowhere, it's because they think there is money to be made in nude art and in almost nude IRL streams, right? This isn't something new. I have the sexual content label on my stream because I talk about very egregious things. Other people don't. Other people talk about ridiculous, horny things on Twitch still, and kids watch that. Kids are very impressionable, and that is something that just happens regularly on Twitch. Not to mention, the games that have violence and gore and sexual acts as well. Not to mention those are also allowed on Twitch, right? And kids are allowed to watch that because somebody who is 13 and up could just make an account and watch this. Totally fine. You don't even need to make an account. Even without an account, you can find all of these things. Twitch, just in general, right now, nowadays, is not a good place for underage people, right? Meaning that with this change, they're essentially doubling down on it. However, a lot of people got banned. There was a bunch of hate raids, so Twitch had to act. And they acted a couple days later, 1 to 2 days later. That is very unusual for Twitch. Twitch normally takes like a notoriously long time, days, weeks, months, even sometimes, for even criminal acts happening on Twitch. I watched Moist Critical's video in regard to this, and his conspiracy theory, which I agree, is that when people basically started drawing porn on Twitch and hentai and whatever, advertisers didn't like that and probably pressured Twitch to revoke this policy completely, right? Notice that they didn't revoke all of it. They didn't revoke the twerking. They didn't revoke the clothed, exposed body parts, the clothed focus on sexual body parts. They just removed the artistic nudity changes, the things that include porn and hentai and anime titties and furry penises, right? Essentially, something that would classify maybe the platform as 18+, which advertisers do not like at all. Advertisers will never touch or monetize anything that has the 18+ tag. However, the good part of it is, even though a bunch of people got raided and banned unjustly or justly, Twitch, after they reversed their policy, they went back and unbanned most of these people. So it was essentially like great publicity for them and not much else. But still, it's a shame that they did go back. They did go back on their word. So what is my personal opinion on this, right? Who is at fault? This was honestly a fiasco. It was a trash fire, a dumpster fire. Who's to blame, right? Number one, it's Twitch, obviously, right? They implemented the policy out of nowhere. They didn't implement they didn't change the automatic ban systems. All the messages people who were being banned were receiving included violating the nudity and sexual body parts section of Twitch, which was changed, but not for the automatic ban purposes, right? Number one. Number two, Twitch didn't think that this was going to happen. I don't know why. They didn't consider that the AI generating people would abuse the system. I also don't understand how come they didn't understand, but at least they acted relatively quickly. And keep in mind, again, they just want money. So if they think that there's money in it, it means that they might try again. And I'm honestly rooting for that. Other people I blame are the artists who pushed too hard on the policy, right? Like who drew just barely outside of the line, right? Like drawing like a nude figure painting is one thing, drawing somebody who's having sex is another, and that didn't happen as often as drawing a hard penis, a huge hard penis on Twitch, right? That is not allowed. I want to shout out Kyoju and Juseps. Kyoju being Kyoju Fulf being the face of this movement. The person who most people saw, he got banned, obviously. But he was pushing the boundaries of this and making Twitch answer the hard questions. And Juseps, who is also a very prominent not safe for work artist, but he doesn't do not safe for work art on Twitch. He just does very suggestive stuff on Twitch. He did a figure painting, which is completely allowed under the new rules, not even pushing it, and he also got banned because you know, he got hate rated as well. The hate raters themselves are honestly the saddest perpetrator of this, because they weren't interested in seeing the platform develop and be good. They just wanted they just wanted this policy out of there. These people were not viewers. They didn't watch art. They were not furries. They did not watch the VTubers and showing their hentai collections. They didn't watch this content at all. They just went to streams to get them banned, which is sad. It's sad, but they are allegedly, you know, hypothetically paying customers of Twitch, and Twitch has to listen to them, and it's sad that they didn't want this to happen. And obviously, finally, the advertisers who, you know, are pulling Twitch's strings, who pulled the plug on this whole operation, unfortunately, are also to blame. You know, again, Twitch follows the money, and the money comes from the advertisers. So if a lot of people would want Twitch to have maybe an 18+ section, like adult Twitch, where a lot of people would do adult content, maybe drawing not safe for work art, maybe talking about not safe for work things, maybe drinking, maybe doing drugs, maybe gambling, or whatever, right? All of those things that are reserved for adults would go there, and a lot of people would want that to happen, but it's really hard for Twitch to do that because they are being pulled by advertiser strings, right? So in conclusion, I honestly think that this is a good thing that it happened. It shows that Twitch is interested in pursuing this venue. It shows that Twitch thinks there is money to be made in artistic nudity, and they know that people want to draw smut on their platform, and they can't because of certain aspects. And so I hope that they go back to the drawing board and come with a better thought out plan for how to implement this in the future. I am honestly hopeful that it goes better next time. Hopefully it's within the next few months rather than the next few years or decades. Let's be honest, right? This is Twitch we're talking about. They're very slow. And that is my presentation. All right, so people in chat, do you have any questions about this subject that you wish to ask me? All right, if there's no questions, well, that is that. Thank you for watching.